the case of family, it is that suppose my spouse is, um, I think is doubting on my intention actually. That's why that this quarrel is happen. So, so what that I am also lacking of the competence. I am not too much. So then, what the next step to do to improve his understanding in relationship, and so even I have desire, she has also desired, but what I have to do for the next step?
Yeah, in fact, when you look at the family, at least in India, if you look at the family, that trust on intention is somehow there, most of the time, okay, or you at least begin with that trust on intention. But when you try to fulfill that, you are not having the competence. Therefore, you are not able to fulfill that intention that you have, right. Like you want to make your child happy, the child also wants to make you happy, similarly husband and wife, right, they want to make each others happy, that is how they start, right. Now, when they try to do something to make you happy, right, it does not suffice, it seems, to make you happy, and you end up becoming unhappy, right. The intention is there, okay, but the competence is missing. Now, from the other side, when you are evaluating this, you are evaluating his action, right, and you find that he is making you unhappy, right. Now, you have two choice, one is start doubting his intention, second trying to evaluate his competence. If you do the first one, the situation is going bad, right, because the moment you start doubting the intention, you have the feeling of opposition, or at least the irritation and anger, instead of being related, feeling of being related to the other. If you are finding that okay, the intention is okay, but competence is missing, then what you will do? You will try to improve upon the competence of the other, right. If we are trying to do that, then things may go on, right, it may improve. There also there are two possibilities, the competence is missing on the missing on the part of the other, and it might also happen that the competence is missing on the part of myself. So, if I evaluate both and try to improve upon that both, then things can improve faster, right. So, the problem arises if I do not take the intention of the other as unconditional and start doubting it on the basis of his performance, on the basis of his competence, then I have a feeling of irritation or anger or opposition, then things will go wrong. Second thing is that the problem arises when I am not doubting the intention, but I am not able to evaluate his competence properly, or I am not able to improve upon his competence, or when I am not able to doubt kind of evaluate my own competence and improve upon it. So, these are the two major reasons. So, what we are saying is that with understanding, with right understanding, we can have trust on intention of everybody, including all the family members. Number two, when I am making the program with him, okay, I have to evaluate my competence and evaluate his competence, and if the competence is missing, we try to improve my own competence and competence of the other. If we do that, things may improve in due course of time, right. So, if somebody is not able to fulfill my this basic intention of making me happy, then I will try to improve my own competence and improve his competence. At least within the family it is possible to do it, and there again it is better to try looking into one's own competence and try improving it, right, and then helping the other to evaluate his competence and improve upon his competence. If we take in that sequence, things will be much better. But what happens generally is that, like if you look at the father, if father is asking the child to do something and the child is not able to do it, right, the father starts shouting at the child, right. That means he is already started doubting the intention, that is how this anger is coming, number 1. Number 2, he is not trying to improve upon the competence of the child, he will shout, ask him to get out, no, this is not improving upon the competence, right. Number 3, he is not looking into his own competence.
Your desire is also correct. Means suppose that you want to that child has to perform best in the class, or they have to do its homework all the times. This expectation is also is more important than the relation between the child to make the happy. So sometimes that we are also fixing that. I think personally I believe that sometimes I evaluate myself that the homework is so much not important that the relation child with myself.
Yeah. So, that if you look at it that way, you would realize that even father does not have the competence, he is not able to make right evaluation, he is shouting, right. Shouting is not the right way to communicate, is not it. So, 3 things are happening, you are doubting the intention of the child, so you are getting angry. Number 2, you are not doing something to improve upon the competence of the child, and number 3, you are not even looking into your own competence and trying to improve upon the competence. So, instead of trying to explain to the child what is the problem, and what is the reason of the problem and how he can improve upon it, you are shouting. Is it the right competence?
But even that, I don't think that father is know that this thing, I am doubting on the intention of the child. Father is saying that I am expecting this one, he is not doing. Why he is not doing actually, that's one. So that is the issue. He is not able to find out that I am doubting on intention. Even that he is just saying that no, he is not doing it. I am not doubting his intention, but he is not able to do
True.
it.
I mean, the father is not able to see it, because that is what we are saying, that the main issue in relationship is understanding the relationship, understanding the feelings in relationship, right. We have not done that, we are not doing it in part of in our education today, right. Like yesterday we were saying, find out how much we are talking about relationship in education today, in schools, in colleges, what is relationship, how to ensure fulfillment in relationship, how to practice that, what we have learnt or understood. So, we are not talking about it in the schools, we are not talking about it in colleges, right. Nowadays, we are not even talking about it in society, okay. And what we call as advanced families, they are not even talking about relationship in family. So, we do not have the understanding of relationship, we do not have the understanding of feelings in relationship, we have not ensured those feelings in relationship, right. Therefore, even though the father has all good intention in terms of making the child progress, right, and be happy, he ends up making the child unhappy. And when that happens, the child feels uncomfortable with the father, right. So, instead of feeling of relationship, there is a feeling of opposition, right, and every day it becomes worse. So, by the time the child grows young and the father grows old, right, he starts reacting, yeah, showing that insult or whatever it is, the misbehavior. Yeah. So, slowly it has been deteriorating, and now it has become irreparable kind of thing.
The issue is there also, that's related to society also. Whatever the goal is setting now, the father is thinking that I am saying right, you are not understanding in this age, you will remember my this effort in the last letter, because when we become something. So whatever the present goal is setting the society is success, about success. This has become first, then you get the prize, then you have to these competition things are involved.
Yeah, true, true. In fact, if you look at the society has set goals, right, which have gone wrong, right. And if you look at the society today, the major goal is set on the basis of acceptance or with the assumption that human being is equal to body. Therefore, the need of the human being is physical facility, Therefore, the program is to accumulate more and more physical facility or unlimited amount of physical facility, right. That is the kind of goal which society has set. And as we discussed right in the first few lectures, that living with this kind of assumption that human being is equal to body and therefore physical facility is everything, is living with animal consciousness, right. So, the whole society is stuck with that wrong assumption about human being, about the program of human being, about the purpose of human being, and all that. So, all that has to be set right. In fact, if you really go about investigating, and that we will do when we talk about harmony in nature and harmony in existence and harmony in society, then we would realize that ultimately our natural acceptance is for three things. Number one, we have natural acceptance for coexistence in existence. We have natural acceptance for harmony in nature with human being and with rest of nature. And third, our natural acceptance is for relationship, for participation in the larger order, right. These are basic three things which are naturally acceptable to all of us, right. And if our desires are in line with it, then they are the right desire. Okay. If they are not in line with that, they are not the right desire. So, you can see, right, these are three things which are naturally acceptable to us: the coexistence in existence, the harmony in nature, the participation in the larger order relationship, right. And if you remember right from the first day when we are asking this question about natural acceptance, we are essentially addressing to this, what is naturally acceptable to you, relationship or opposition, harmony or disharmony, coexistence or struggling, fighting. So, this is what is naturally acceptable to all of us. And if this is what is naturally acceptable to us, then all our desire, all our goal has to be set on the basis of this, whether it is the goal of an individual or the family or the society, right, the whole nation, the whole world, right. The goal has to be set on the basis of these three things: the coexistence in existence, the harmony in nature, and the relationship with human being and with rest of nature.